Well, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the Canadian YouTube creator, that's right, also known as Jason Cosmic RSSP Authority. Now, my present subscribers, they'll know what RSSP stands for, don't you guys out there? But people new to my channel, it stands for Real Secret Space Program, way up there in space. Now, you guys might be wondering today, why are you holding a gun, Jason? Why? Well, this could be the armament for the Space Force, what they might use. That's right, guys, because we're going to talk about Donald Trump's Space Force. Absolutely, because it's so crucial. It's absolutely vital that we demand the U.S. leadership and government to provide transparency, finally, and truth on what the hell is going on in space, man. Now, that's not to say that, you know, Congress, the Space Force, Trump's administration, they're still waiting for the Congress to okay it, right? But I'm 95% sure that Congress will give them the all right. They'll give them the okay because, you know, Trump's administration, they'll buy Congress out. They'll do whatever they have to do because it shows, guys, Trump and his administration, they know the big move is the space-based economy. Absolutely. Now, before we go on, guys, just a quick reminder, if you do enjoy my videos, you know, guys, I've always said my intentions are pure. I'm trying to be bold, honest, open, and true. I'm trying to help provide some transparency and be advocates for the truth with you guys, again, on the most important subjects of our time, and that involves the Real Secret Space Program and the kaleidoscope of topics that go along with it, everybody. The gouging of trillions of dollars over the years from U.S. taxpayers' pockets and millions of people worldwide. You know, the whole economy is being organized and run to produce the resources to go into space. That, you know, it's been a space-based economy, as I've said before, guys, really since 1947, I believe. And there's been a lot of lies associated with this to try to keep this secret, this whole ridiculous, outrageous cover-up. So if you guys enjoy my intentions and my intellectual honesty and my information, I'm trying to be a hardcore researcher, guys, into this field, man. And it's really invigorating. I always say, guys, if you do some research investigation, it can be very invigorating, okay? And again, it's all about to get our power and sovereignty back, guys. I'm trying to help us. You know, I've made it my life goal to try to penetrate this black budget technology. Absolutely. Now, we're going to get into the Space Force, guys, so hope you'll subscribe to my channel. Just getting a photo here ready for you guys, okay? And I hope maybe you'll share my videos. Give me that thumbs up. Find that church bell icon, would you? So you can be notified for future videos, okay? Now, we're going to get into Trump's speech in a moment. Here's Donald Trump and his Space Force, the official, you know, this hearing out front of Washington Capitol, as if these guys have been honest. You know, Trump's been bending left and right, bending over, unfortunately, for the deep state elements of the CIA in his administration, unfortunately. And then it seems like that with every president, guys, except for the late, great John F. Kennedy, who we may talk about in this video. But every president's pretty much a puppet. And unfortunately, you know, elements of the deep black program contractors, particularly Lockheed Martin, who we'll get into later in this video, guys. But elements of them and the CIA, they use their persuasion and their power, and they influence the presidents often, especially when it comes to geopolitical decisions, it seems, guys. And it often is not good. It's horrendous decision making, so many unethical acts happening, guys. Treason, slavery. And guys, we deserve better. We can do better. You know, the U.S. leadership and government, just the public, have got to get off their asses, guys, and just do a revolution. Do a peaceful march in front of Washington. Demand your divine right to this black budget technology and what the hell has been going on for 50 to 60 years. Guys, the cover-up is at least 50 to 60 years now trying to lie about this, again, this whole cover-up, guys. Now, let's get into the Trump Space Force. I want to, guys, tell you again, I did this on a past video on the Space Force, but I think it's important to tell you guys the speech again. I'm going to get it correct this time. It was several months ago or up to a year ago, right, when he did his first big speech on the Space Force, introducing it, right? And what did he say? And I'll tell you guys why it's so important to know what he said in this speech and to listen to what I say, guys, of the speech, okay? I'll tell you in a moment. So here we go. Trump's saying how vital interests lost out to special interests in Washington. But you senators, congressmen, and then he jokes, but you, Daniel, you would never do that, right? And he says, but my administration, we're going to change all that. We are going to reclaim America once again as a spacefaring nation. That's right. He tries to sound all powerful, right? And then he says a line that I totally agree with, guys. This part I absolutely agree with. He says it's America's heritage to explore new horizons and tame new frontiers. Well, absolutely. You know, I've always told you guys, I believe the essence of the human condition is exploration and ultimately discovery and knowledge, right? And what defines us as humans is our ability to expand our minds to the endless possibilities, you know, and explore new horizons. You know, I don't know about you guys, but every day I'm on this precious planet of ours, Earth, you know, I want to know more about myself. I want to know more about the world around me and how things work and real reality, guys. And that's why I always say, discussing the real secret space program, using intelligent discourse on these topics, this all-important subject, it really gives us a great stage to cut through the misdirection, the lies, the orchestrated strategic distractions, as I always say, the psyops that the government's put forward, guys, and we can start to begin to understand real reality and this ridiculous cover-up, too, as I said, for 50 to 60 years. So Trump, let's go on. Trump continues on with the speech here, guys. Very important. He says, our destiny beyond the earth is not only a matter of a national identity, but a matter of national security. And he says, and it's so important to our military, and it's not talked about very much. Not talked about very much. Anybody who's half awake over there in the U.S., and I'm sure many other countries would know this as well, that the U.S. use national security as an excuse all the time, just about, guys. I mean, come on. I've always said, guys, if you just go to the American Federation of Sciences over there in Washington, they admit 5,135 patents have been seized, guys. Isn't that ridiculous? This is how the military remains ahead of the public, guys. This is how the Deep Black program contractors hold the rest of the world hostage with this technology. They take away technology patents, okay? And it's all about garnering defense contracts there in the United States, the Empire of the United States. It's all about garnering defense contracts and technology patents. It's out of control, guys, okay? So, again, so let's continue on with the speech here, guys. I thought that part was interesting too. And then he says, it's not enough to just have American mere presence in space. We must have dominance in space. And then he says, so I hereby importantly direct the Department of Defense and the Pentagon to immediately start the process necessary to establish the Space Force, the sixth branch of the military, he says. And then he goes and he says, that's a big statement. Well, I guess it is a big statement. As if the Americans need a sixth branch of the military. It's so outrageous. I've always said, guys, and most people know, the Americans are absolutely armed to the teeth. But Trump's administration, they want the Space Force, right? And then he says, so we're going to have the Space Force and we're going to have the Air Force, separate but equal. So, General Dunford, I want you to carry out the assignment, it basically says. But guys, here's the thing. First of all, Donald Trump, you notice how he never ever talks about the Navy and the Navy Space Force, guys. The Navy, should I say, space programs out there. The Navy, guys, I've always said they are spearheading under the military branch the covert space program. I've always said, NASA, you guys got to understand this, and how the aerospace companies work and how it's set up, okay? And the secret space program. NASA is just a cover for the NRO and the Air Force space programs, and the NRO and the Air Force, they're a cover for a much more highly classified secret covert space program. The real secret space program is spearheaded by the Navy, guys. It absolutely is. And this photograph is a testament to the Navy's technology, guys, and hardware. This is a massive cigar-shaped craft. I always like to talk about it. This powerful, glorious photo of mine in the infrared, guys. Authentic photo taken in 1985 by none other than the amazing Hubble telescope. And it says, infrared photograph of one of the gigantic cylindrical objects taken by the Hubble all the way in the rings of Saturn, guys. These are released at nighttime. This has been measured at least 2.5 to 3 miles in size. That's right, guys. I know it sounds wild, but even Billy Carson, who owns First Class Space Agency, so he's not a whistleblower, therefore this makes him a hardcore space insider. He's even said before, the cigar-shaped craft deep in space are supermassive objects the size of small cities, and they are staffed by U.S. naval officers, guys. And he says that's a fact. So you could take that to the bank, guys. And I'm telling you that because, again, Trump and his administration, the U.S. leadership government, it's about goddamn well time that they tell us the truth. Right, everybody? But apparently they're not going to. The U.S. leadership and government, and this means elements of the deep black program contractors, the likes of Lockheed Martin especially, guys, they will not be courageous and tell you the truth and explain away the black budget technology. They won't let us have a mainstream understanding of it yet, which is absolutely despicable. Right, guys? I mean, 50 to 60 years they've lied to us. They show us the technology all the time. Millions of people have seen military UFOs, guys, worldwide, right? Of course, the cigar-shaped craft, the ones this size by the Navy, this is released at nighttime, so you don't see it. But guys, just know, cigar-shaped craft in general, they're the most popular, basically, shape of UFO, besides flying saucers. It's the cigar-shaped craft, okay? And the second most popular, actually one of the most popular that's really been in vogue the last several decades now, guys, is the black massive triangles, the TR-3B. And now this one is not operated by the Navy per se, guys. Even though they hide it on submarines. I even have a black and white photo showing you they hide it on submarines. But the defense contractor that I've connected it to, guys, and only one other researcher has connected it to Lockheed Martin, guys. And that's my buddy Michael Schratt, the great aircraft aerospace historian, okay? And the reason I'm showing you this is, let's connect it to the Space Force again, guys. Once you study the black budget technology and some of these defense contractors like Lockheed Martin, guys, and once you know about the military patches, and you guys can Google all the different stealth patches, as I say, researchers show you all the different symbols that the military secretly encrypts in their patches, okay? This is what they like to do. They show you all these different symbols, and they think most of us, they're counting on most of us to be too dumbed down or have willful ignorance or just not interested and don't care, guys, and yet it's so important. Ironically, though, I've told you guys before, the one symbol that you will not find on the patches, nobody's connected it other than me and one other researcher who briefly alluded to it. Even my buddy, the great Michael Schratt, ironically, he apparently has not even connected the triangles, even though he talks about the TR-3B, but he hasn't talked about them and shown them on the patches, okay? He talks about other patches, stealth patches, but here it is, guys. It's the triangles, and it's on the Mir space station, guys. I'll show you. Look at this. This shows you that they are using the TR-3B to deliver military assets, massive military assets, I'm sure, in all kinds of clandestine activities, going in the Mir space station. And why not? If you've got the black budget technology, you're swiftly moving into space, why not use that craft to go to the Mir space station? This is what's happening, guys. This is the symbol. It's showing you. And here it is. The Space Force and NASA, guys. The same triangle. China has a very similar triangle as well. Again, there's other triangles associated with Russia. So this technology, guys, is trans-international. That's my point. And why did I want to share that speech with you guys with Donald Trump so bad? Well, it's showing you guys, right? That is a total unipolar model. It absolutely is. It's basically unipolar dominance. I mean, even the great Catherine Austin Fix talked about a unipolar model, right? When you got a unipolar model, it's all about not sharing power, basically. You're consolidating your own power. You're not going to share it with the public. And, it's all about secrecy, guys. We've already had way too much. The secrecy is just, again, off the charts. There's a schizophrenic wall of secrecy, guys, for 50 to 60 years on this. It's so outrageous and ridiculous. We've got to break down the walls of this crazy elite secrecy, guys, and bridge the gap here, because it's divided the population, guys, all this secrecy, right? And all these privileges. You see, one of the greatest dangers I've always said of the space-based economy, and would be the same thing, guys, if we allow the Space Force to get off the ground. And I say we do not, guys. We have to demand Trump's administration. If they want to get the Space Force to be off the ground and operational, then let's get the real truth on this amazing free energy generation propulsion systems, guys. It's free energy, man. It's going to get you off stinky old gas and coal. The military know it, guys. The deep black program contractors. The government knows it. You won't need a centralized utility bill. And yet they've enslaved us for 50 to 60 years on this. It's crazy, guys, right? The whole petrodollar system, we haven't needed it. We shouldn't have needed it for 50, 60 years. And even most forms of nuclear, guys. This is a known fact. So again, Trump's speech, guys, was a whole unipolar model. It was totally opposite of the late John F. Kennedy, what he was trying to accomplish, right, guys? He wanted a collaborative, multipolar model, joining other nations together, right? We were going to join with Russia going into space and other nations. We were going to go to the stars, colonize Mars, right? We were going to create peace. We were going to do all these things, fix our problems. That's why even Catherine, who lived, during John F. Kennedy's times, I didn't, guys, but I understand from those times it was the most confidence, basically, in the human race ever, right, guys? John F. Kennedy was a believer in freedom, largely. And more of you Americans should honor John F. Kennedy's life, I believe, more. And that means demanding the U.S. leadership and government to finally be honest, man. Stop with the lies and the bullshit. It's so outrageous, guys. Can you imagine? The CIA, the NSA, the NRO, the deep black program contractors, the likes of Lockheed Martin, they've lied to you for 50 to 60 years, man. Come on, guys. It's time, man. We deserve the truth. So I just wanted to show you guys the type of speech there from Trump, right? It was obviously a unipolar model, and we don't need that, guys, right? It's very dangerous. They're going to do a lot of clandestine operations, and guess who's behind the Space Force, guys? It's Lockheed Martin. It has to be. This whole unipolar model and dominance in space, you better believe, guys, of all the defense contractors, and of course you got Boeing, Raytheon, and Northrop Grumman doing their thing, and others, but it's Lockheed Martin that we have to focus on, guys. Them and the CIA are behind that whole speech with Donald Trump. And, the Lockheed Martin guys, they've been responsible for gouging taxpayer dollars to the tune of trillions of dollars. The whole F-35 scam, guys, I showed you, right? Gouging, they spent over $1 trillion on the F-35, the turkey plane I described. And other critics like Pierce Spray will tell you, it's a turkey plane. They boistered this fat, bulky airframe. It's not even a good plane, guys. And yet they spent over $1 trillion. For 18 years, we didn't even know it would ever fly, or 20 years. Now they're finally operational, and they're just bombing ISIS members, right, guys? ISIS and Taliban hiding in caves with rifles. You talk about an undefended, unsophisticated target, and yet they're bombing it with this so-called sophisticated plane with all the sensor fancy package. Just so ridiculous, guys. And they've gouged my Canadian taxpayers. My Canadian government allowed themselves to be conned, unfortunately, from Lockheed Martin's propaganda machine. And Lockheed Martin's propaganda machine have conned 9 other foreign nations to go on the investment of this thing as well, guys. It's so outrageous. And us Canadians, the Canadian government, we're not going to purchase a fleet of F-35s. They're way too expensive. We won't even purchase one, but we're invested on it. So this is what's going on, guys. And again, we deserve truth and transparency on the Space Force if Congress okays it, which they probably will. Because, guys, this is the most important subject of our times. We're talking free energy. Yet the Space Force, Trump, they're not going to be utilizing rockets. This is why I get so exasperated, guys. All the private space companies, they're using rockets. And I showed you guys, I just did a video with none other than Chris Hadfield, right? Our Canadian famous astronaut with the series Masterclass, which I described, guys. The Masterclass is just another U.S. psyop. It absolutely is. Because he's trumpeting rockets, guys. He's a CIA asset and stooge all the way, Chris Hadfield. I really believe that, guys. Because he's trumpeting rockets. His first line I played in my video, guys, he says, rockets is a beautiful equation. Are you kidding me? Here's Elon Musk, Falcon 5 heavy rocket. The point is, guys, this is how the governments try to disorient you guys, the public. And they lie to you guys. Rockets is 1943 Nazi German tech, and the V2 in 1944, guys. Come on. We're way past rockets, but you would never know it if you just listen to corporate lamestream media, the likes of CNN, all the other stations, and all the private space companies, guys. And, you know, it's just such a joke. And Chris Hadfield, he's got to know better, guys. He'll know a little bit, at least, about the black budget technology. And here he is making money off bragging about rockets. I mean, it's so outrageous. The guy has sold his soul, in my opinion, guys. So we need to expose some of these dirty players for the CIA, guys. We need to understand the Space Force. And we need to know that Lockheed Martin's behind it all. I truly believe that, guys. I call it a Lockheed Martin black budget space enterprise. That's what this whole Space Force and the Unipolar model is all about, guys. And we deserve truth of what the hell's going on here, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for being gracious with your time. So I got to go. I hope you'll subscribe, guys. I want to take this channel to the next level. I'm trying to be advocates for the truth, guys. I'm going to help us break down the walls of this crazy, absurd elite secrecy, like I said. I hope you're sharing my videos. Give me the thumbs up. Hit that bell icon so you can be notified for future videos. And remember, guys, that Navy are the ones really spearheading and in charge of the secret space program. And you'll never hear Donald Trump tell you, because he's lying to you guys, right? It's all about the Air Force and now the Space Force. Come on, we deserve better, guys. Take care. We deserve the truth, most of us. Have a great day.